Hello, I'm back. Forgot to turn on the steamer. Need to turn it on. Welcome to Retainer Designer, another Sunday live stream. Hope everyone is doing good out there. Today we are doing, I didn't say it in the title because I didn't really know, but I'm running behind on a few things, so we're going to be doing those today. So we're doing a wraparound, and this is an interesting wraparound because it's got labial acrylic, and it's just one wraparound. That's it, or just one wire, and that's it. And then I have two of those, and then I have a splint. And I haven't decided which one of those I want to do. I think I may do the wraparound and try to do the splint at the same time. I don't think I'll get them both done during this hour-long live stream, but hopefully I'll get pretty far in there and answer y'all's questions on the way. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's see. I think I got everything I need here. Yeah, I got a splint, and I got two wraparounds, and actually I got a third wraparound that's hidden. That should be on top right there. That's wrong. And I got to deliver them early in the morning. So it's wonderful to, this is right before Thanksgiving, so there's always like a little rush right before Thanksgiving. So that's always fun to have, is a little rush. You know, the doctor's offices are probably going to be off during Thanksgiving, and oh, I can hear the music. Sorry if that's too loud. Let me know if that's too loud. So I'm prepping this. This office usually does a really good job. They'll have the doctor check it and make sure that they got behind the sevens over here. Right now I'm just getting rid of all the air bubbles from impressions. It's been a while probably since y'all seen a stone model on my live stream. Usually it's all digital models. So it's nice to get back to having, you know, regular stone models again. You gotta be, oh, hello. Aldo, saludos from Tijuana. Oh, very cool. Nice to see y'all down there. Looks like I think you and I are in the same Mexico, right? You and I are in the same time zone. So I saw some pretty cool videos I was wanting to see about Mexico City recently. And Mexico City is such a cool town. I had a friend that I worked in the ortho lab with. Shout out to Arturo if you're out there watching this. He was from Mexico City, and he told me that engineers from all over the world go to Mexico City because that whole city was built on a lake, and the engineering that went behind that was amazing. But anyway, you know, all the videos and YouTube videos that you watch during, you know, while you work that you're not supposed to be watching. Now, if y'all work for somebody in a lab, don't be watching videos. I think most labs allow music. They almost can't not. I know a lot of labs that would play music during, like out on speakers. Like they'll put it on a local country station or top 40 station, just play that. And it's kind of nice to have some music going. That's why I have it in the background here. You're one of my teachers during orthodontic school. Oh, very cool. Oh, so you're Dr. Lopez now. So that's very cool. Oh, I'm glad to help. Hey, I'm actually getting a wire bending course together. I'm actually made some strides. I started putting some stuff on the website, recorded some videos, so that's coming soon to help those that are going through school and need some help with wire bending and stuff. So I'm glad to hear that. Diamond Blast, that's cool. Hello there, sir. Hello. Your video helped me a ton. I am glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it. Just sharing the knowledge, and I'm sure you're going to pass that knowledge on to someone else, and that is how it's supposed to be. I don't know if many of y'all may not know, but when I started in ortho, you know, that was the 90s. I was a junior in high school. Wasn't doing the lab stuff yet, but I decided then I wanted to be an orthodontist. So that's where I started. So I'm going to go ahead and draw. I'm not supposed to draw on here after the separator but I'm going to put another coat of separator. But this is pretty much what we're looking at as far as wire bending. And we'll let that dry. Let me look at this splint here. See if it's too much going on. Oh, those got, I can see why they need a splint. They are tearing those up. So this might be, yeah, I'll do a splint, or prep one, and you can kind of see how I move from one appliance to another. Like one's drying. One of the good things you can do as a lab technician is be able to, while you're waiting on one to cure or to dry or something, be moving on to the next one. So this is kind of where I want my splint to go. So I'm just going to draw a line. So this is also called a night guard. This doctor specifically wants half of the sevens cut off, or the second molars. And then they want canine guidance on this. So I usually try, and this is the canine that we're going to be guiding right here. So I usually will try to make a mark to help remind myself, hey, canine guidance, Cade. Canine, don't forget that. I've built up canine guidance before in these, and then I've ground it off and had to add it back on. I'm exactly perfect. That's perfect. I'm glad, Dr. Lopez, that you are passing that on to your ortho students now. That's what I'm hoping. I'm researching how, like my wire bending course, I kind of want to, try to make the curriculum for it. Let me have this dry now. And but I want it to be able to where, ortho students, maybe they can buy it for a discount, or lab owners can buy it and then they hire someone off the street that's interested in working, then they can buy that for their students, for their employees to take. Anyway, so glad that's helping y'all. I'm going to go ahead so I'm back to the splint. So as you can see, I'm just going to be switching back and forth. I'm going to do some basic blocking out. See how there's almost like a pinhole in there. I'm just going to fill that in, because if acrylic gets in there, it is not, once it hardens, it does not, you'll break these teeth off, and then most likely it will not fit on the mouth. So I'm just going to do a once over quick undercut. So I'm just doing some undercut. I think what I'm going to do is put this on a Galletti articulator. So y'all let me know out there if y'all are familiar with the Galletti articulator. It is a plasterless articulator. These things are nice, the official Galletti ones, and I was lucky to get one. I believe they're about $750 a pop, so they're pretty expensive. You're like, Cade, why don't you just buy like a Hanau or a Whipmix, or am I saying Hanau, right? That's what we used in school. I do. I need to get one of those too. But this Galletti just comes in handy sometimes. I like to wax the incisal edge. I don't know why. I just feel like I don't like breaking these teeth off. So this just gives me a little bit of cushion. There's just almost like a just the thinnest coat of wax on there. Just, I don't know. I just feel like it fits. The retainer fits better. Sometimes there's like little undercuts here. So let me go ahead and wax some of this. A lot of this will be blocked out by my wax that I put on here. So what I'm planning on doing on this splint is where I drew the line, I'm going to put a wax border with utility rope wax. And then that way, when I go to sprinkle, I don't have to try to, you know, balance it and it's running all over the place. I have like a platform to sprinkle it against. And I'm going to just do a little bit on the occlusion. This will just in case there's like any air bubbles I can't see, or voids, or something like that, or even like this little area right here, just as sharp as can be. There's like a little thing. Can I zoom in on this? There's just like a sharp little thing right there. So I'm going to wax that out. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and put a border on this. Let me zoom out. That thing's getting crazy. Oh, once again, thank you. I know what a Galetti is. Good thing I bought a used one on eBay. 60 bucks, right? Yeah, I got one from a friend, from another lab owner. He didn't ever use it, and he had one. He sold it to me for 75, so he got an even better deal than I did. I haven't seen someone wax a whole model then scrape majority back off. Wonder why they do that. That's true. Now I've seen them do it on dentures where they like wax the whole dent, all the teeth in, and then scrape it off, and then do the like design after it. But maybe that gives them more control over the undercuts because what tool you use. So let's say I overfill this hole right here like this. Let that cool. And you're like, oh, I did too much. I can use like a little tool where I know the depth of the tool, and I can scrape it off that way. Now, a real professional would use you can scrape it off. You can kind of control the depth or the undercuts of it. Let's see if I can darken that a bit. I feel like you can control, you know, how deep the undercuts go. So they fill everything in, and then they just make their own undercuts. And we might have a dog cam. The entire model, so like the whole model is covered in wax, like they just might as well just dip it. I could see that. They don't have to worry about separator. You're welcome. I hope that helped. So if y'all see here, well, y'all can't see that. Bring this up. Oh, can y'all see right here? Yeah. So on here is rope wax. It's on this light, this LED light that I have, and it just keeps it just perfectly tacky and soft. So whenever I get it, I usually out of the box. I'll show you the box I use. Corning's utility wax strips. I'd rather have square, but JBC and Company, where I buy it from, they only sell them in round, which is fine. So I will just push this, and so since it's slightly warm, it's moldable and sticks to the model better when it's slightly warm. When they're cold, they don't like to stick to the model. So then I'll just connect that and just work my way around. Again, what I was saying before about, you know, professional people more talented than I, they would use a surveyor. Anybody ever seen a surveyor? They use it a lot for partial dentures, and they have these. This is actually based on a surveyor model, and you put it in here, and you find a certain level, and then there's a lock over here, and you lock the ball joint down, and then it has this thing that with a pen or a pencil, and you can mark it, and you find the perfect undercuts. Actually, I should have mounted this on a Galetti first, but I think we'll be okay. So, for those that are joining, we are attempting to do a splint and a wraparound at the same time. So you'll be seeing me switch back and forth. I should have. I made a new countdown graphic real quick before we started. A little janky one I played right before, and I should have made one. I should make one. Oh, I could. Can I do that? Can I be fancy like that? Let's see. Yep. And no. So then I can go splint, wraparound. So I'm working on the splint right now. You gotta remember not to leave that on. So I'm going to, this is actually broken. I've broken the tip off. I've used it so much, I gotta get a new one. But it actually works perfect in this because that little corner fits right into the embrasure, and I like to melt it down. That needs a lot of undercuts. Yeah. So Linda, I might go back sometimes when I'll if I see I've blocked out too much, I'll carve out some stuff. And then I can just use this and do that. See it I look at the shadows too, which y'all don't see the shadows I see, but I wonder if I can do this. Nope, can't see it. Anywho, I got it. Give me my light back. Can't see nothing. There we go. So I use a lot of looking at shadows and stuff just to make sure I'm getting enough block out. It's good to sometimes start these splints. I think I need to block this right here. That looks a little rough. You know, sometimes, these are shipped to me, these models, and sometimes they're not wrapped so well, and teeth will be broken and stuff like that, or there'll just be slight little chips. So you really got to know the anatomy of your teeth, so you know, oh, that looks, or you actually got to worry about not that, is the tooth chipped in the mouth, or is it chipped on the model? All right, let's get this mounted. Here's the lower, and we have a wax bite that goes with it. So let me get my Galetti. Let's see, where is it at? Keep it up here with my articulators. With my Galetti, I have some plaster bases already on here, and y'all have seen me use those before. I actually hot glue the 3D printed models on here, and it gives me a nice base to work with, but I don't need those in this case. The doctor's office actually poured up and trimmed these for me, so I'm excited about that. So to mount these, I don't know, maybe you can see it better this way. I'm gonna put this on here. Now I don't know, maybe Dr. Lopez would know better. What do you think of the accuracy of these Galettis? Sometimes it's hit or miss on if a splint is floating or if it's the occlusion's done right. All right, so I'm gonna add this, and this is just a simple little mechanism. I turn this and it moves this thing up and down. And you can see why it's plasterless now. But to get the teeth to touch, you undo this, and then you undo this, which slides the top mesial distal, or anteriorly, posteriorly, and this will loosen the ball joint, which makes it go like this. Ball joints around, then this part will slide through. So let me back this camera up a bit. So the best thing I can probably do is put the wax bite. I don't really trust wax bites because sometimes the patient doesn't bite evenly on it. Like they'll bite harder on one side than the other. So then I'm going to take this and go straight there. And then I'll open this, take this out, and then it almost gave me perfect spacing all the way around. But let's say you didn't have that wax bite. You can still loosen these and get this into, just almost hand articulate it into maximal intercuspation. If I'm saying that right. Maximal intercuspation. Y'all know what I'm saying. So I'm going to tighten this down. Tighten this down. I try my hardest not to use tools on here. I've heard nightmares of these knobs breaking off from over tightening. But you don't want them to move. So now we are open. Or sorry. We are good. Oh, I got a little wax right there. See how hard he's hitting right here in the anterior? So let's crack this open. They want it as thin as possible. And then to check the excursions, you can flip these latches like this. And this also unlocks it so you can do that. But you can also check lateral excursions like this. So it looks like I'm clearing everything. So let's lock that down. I wonder how thick that is. Let's see if I got some wax. These are like 1.5. Okay, so yeah, I've got 1.5 back there. A little more on that side. It does have it is hitting pretty hard. I just saw like a chipped tooth or something. Let me re-wax this where it hit the lower teeth. And now I paint with plaster separator. Get out of there. You got to be careful that you don't, chip the teeth while you're occluding them together. So this helps, to skip, mounting this on an articulator and waiting for it to dry, and then go back and mount the upper and wait for it to dry and all that good stuff. All right, so we're going to put this on here in front of my little trusty fan. And then the lower, this is where my hot glue gun will come into effect. And I'm mainly doing this just a general block out because, you want to, hopefully you don't break these cusp tips off because you're going to do occlusal equilibration. You're going to tap it with the articulating paper and you want to make sure you don't break any of these tips off. So pretty much what I'm doing with this is just providing a little relief in case I overbuild it and the acrylic, it'll spill over or whatever and it could break it off. One thing you could do also is just run a little bit of wax on the occlusal tips or the cusp tips. I like doing that just because while you're sprinkling it in acrylic, you know, you'll be putting the articulator together, taking it apart, putting it together, taking it apart, and then there we go. So I'm going to put some separator here. My paintbrush is like foaming up. Guess I didn't clean that up. So then back to, oh, did I mess that up? My, okay, I was moving this thing, it scared me. I thought I messed up my opening. That is a lock, and it's good to lock it down so you can't move this on accident and close the articulator. So again, I'm going to put this here. I'm going to grab my wraparound and we will start bending. How are we doing on time? All right. Haven't bent a single thing and we're halfway through it. Oh, here we go. Fancy wraparound section time thing. Yeah. Okay, so this one, I'm just going to use 032 wire. Oh, I got some comments. I'm sorry, guys. I was snoozing. I have struggled on my stones, although the doctor says they're fitting perfectly. I'm just really enjoying watching you do one, so thank you. Oh, excellent. I'm glad, you know, learn from me how not to do it. And struggling on my splints. Oh, I was assuming splints on your stone models. So let me know, do you mount them on an articulator with stone? Like a fancy articulator? Do you use I have a brass articulator like this that I use a lot. One of these cheap things. So I have one of these I use a lot. Just a basic articulator. Iliad, hello, sorry I'm late. Blessings, you too, brother. From Tennessee, Acrylic Master. All right, so now, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I know what I was doing. Watch this. This is what I was doing. No, dang it, I missed my cue. I know what I was doing. Wraparound. All right, so we're back to the wraparound. And I'm gonna use 032 wire. Hopefully that is, yeah. Well, yeah. I tend to close that a little hard. Oh, Linda, that's the one you pulled off the shelf? Yep, that's the one I use it all the time too. And you got to mount it with a plaster and all that stuff. Well, if the doctor says they're fitting good, then, you know, I've struggled on my splints. Although the doctor says they're fitting perfectly, I'm really enjoying watching you do one, so thank you. Okay. Hey, if the doctors say they're fitting good, then I wouldn't worry about it too much. So this is just going to have one loop right here. Well, wraparounds all have one. Well, I guess they have two loops. I got that wrong. All right, let's do my 90. And then I'll take my loop former, and I like this loop former because it makes a nice wide, short loop like that. Okay. Where's my 3 prongs? Oh no! Maybe I can get away with these. I bet my 3 prongs are... Okay, I gotta check. I see them over there on the QC table. I have a QC table. Ouchie. that I use to QC appliances. And I'll leave my pliers over there. I have to get up and go get them. I got to keep checking. So I don't really contour going in and out of the embrasure. I think most doctors want the teeth to, slide back and forth a bit because they're usually using these to consolidate space, and they don't want anything crossing the occlusion. So that is, and so they like the teeth to be able to settle into occlusion with the bottom teeth. So they've just gotten out of braces, and the doctor wants the teeth to settle, doesn't want wires going across the occlusion. So I'm just going to get this one side into, well, I don't have my cutter. Yep, there they are. Found my cutters. Everyone settle down. Found them. And I'm a little off. Why am I a little off? Oh, let me flare that out a bit. I don't want them impinging in the gums right there. So then I can go to the other side. And mainly what I'm doing, I'm just marking the last spot that it's touching the tooth. Now here on this canine, I'll mark in the spot where I want to bend it, which is about just mesial of the halfway point on the canine. So make my 90. I am slightly flaring this out, as you can tell by the way I bent this. Can I get that? So you can see, you shouldn't be able to see that. See how it's like that? If you see that, then I'm perfectly 90, but I flared this out just a bit because I can see the gums need it. So I just went ahead and built that into my 90. So yeah, I totally did it on purpose. Until it doesn't work, then I did it on purpose just to show you how not to do it. And I'm just, so as I'm doing my wire bending course, some things start coming back to me, and that make a lot of sense. That these bird beaks are your main wire benders. 3 prongs are your adjustment pliers. I know I get myself into trouble because I'll end up bending a lot of this. I think I have a live stream that I did where can I bend a whole labial bow with just 1 pair of pliers, and it turns out yes I can. Not bragging, just you do this long enough, you can do it. And then I think somebody challenged me to see if I can bend it with only 3 prongs. What are you doing, Lila? I'm babysitting my wife's dog. Where are you? I hear you. She's up. Actually, while she's up, let me. Oh, you want to go outside? Well, I can't let you out right now. Oh, here's my pliers. They were on the QC desk. Let's switch over. Well, let me get this into place. You know what? Let me get to a stopping point on this. Sometimes I think I'm done with these and I'm like, man, I just bent this like so fast, and then bam, nothing. I'm not done. I'm not near done like I thought. I got a little hill to climb on this gums. I don't think this 7 is fully erupted, which is great for a wraparound because they allow teeth to erupt. Oh, just found out. Y'all remember speaking of wire bending, my friends from AOS, they have the wire bending machine. She just gave me a flyer where you can buy one of those wire bending machines, like 0 payments for a year, which is really great because those wire bending machines are expensive. And it's one of those things where, do I need to like double my workload just so I can afford one of those? Just so I can triple my workload? Just so I can handle double the workload? I mean, do I go get a bunch of doctors first? Because I need to make that extra money to pay for this thing. So the 0 payments. So it's a little thing they're doing at the end of the... If anybody's interested, comment below. I can probably send them the flyer. And that's for the wire bending machine, the one I had the wire bending contest with. Okay, I think this is pretty good. What, Amy? Why are you so late? That's okay. Well, usually I start like at 6 or something, but the Cowboys played at noon today, and they actually won. It was the craziest game. It almost went overtime, and then like it was almost a blowout, and then like special teams. It was a crazy game because it was like tied 3-3 at half, and then it ends up being 34-27 or something crazy like that. And all happened in the fourth quarter. It was crazy, but that's okay. Yeah, wow, they won. Yeah, the Cowboys won after losing, I don't know how many in a row, 5 in a row. But they won with the backup quarterback. Sometimes I get a little too fast for my britches. That needs to go up. You see the bend I need to make? I need to bend it a little more right there. It's not bad, but let's see if I can get that done. And then I promise I'll get to the splint. Amy, if you're just watching, what we're doing is we're doing a wraparound and a splint at the same time. Just kind of showing how normal lab life is, where you got a lot of, like a chef, I guess. You got a lot of pans on the pokers in the fire. Something, I don't know. One of those things. You got a lot of things in the flames. You're flaming out. I don't know. One of those, just insert motto or saying where I'm trying to say it. Spinning plates. No, that's a juggler. Okay, so now let me bend this downward. Like so. My neighbors are riding their dirt bikes. And sorry, it's been so, with the time change and all, and me kind of starting late on Sunday nights, it kind of y'all don't get to hear Pete anymore. But Pete's doing good. He's finished molting. He's not scraggly and mangy anymore. Man, he's got these talons on him, man. They're like that long. Good thing he's nice. See, this is where I get caught up. What I was trying to say before. Where I'm like, oh, look how fast I bent this. And then I go to, perfect it. And I spent I spend as long perfecting it as I do that I did bending it. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to stop there before I get too crazy. There we go. No, Cade. Oh, the other day, the worst happened. I finished a labial bow, or was really close to finishing it. Dropped it on the floor, rolled my chair back, ran over it, and bent it all to hell. I mean, it was bad. And I had to start all over again. Okay. I'm trying to get this back here looking right. So let me wax this down. Let me set it aside, do a little more splint work, and then take a look at this again and see if I like it or not. So I'm just tacking it different spots with the sticky wax. Sometimes the occlusion is off like this. It doesn't, I don't know, it's just kind of hard to bend the wire when you're trying to keep it even with a plane, but there's no plane. It doesn't exist. Okay. And I'm also looking at it like, will this bend be easier to fix when it's not, when it's got acrylic on it? And sometimes yes, sometimes no. So let's pull this out. All right, we're almost ready for acrylic. What are we doing on this acrylic wise? Crystal clear, boring. Do better. Okay, so what I don't know if you can see this, but it really swoops down here. It's not very flat, so it's kind of throwing my wire off right there. So, okay. That is ready for acrylic. Then let's finish up the splint. Not finish it up. I gotta put my second coat of acrylic on here. Sorry, separator, not acrylic. And with all this wax I put on here, you really don't need that much separator. So, I can see, Linda, that's why a lot of people use all wax. They just coat the whole thing in wax and cut it back. But I'll be afraid it fits too loose. I've been trying to get back into using the JBC splint former. Sometimes I nail it, sometimes I don't. It's gonna take a lot of practice. So we're gonna let that cool off there. Let's see, what do we got here? Too many. You may want to watch, turn them while you can see. Ah, dang it. But don't call it out, Amy. Well, actually, I need to marker it out, because once I get the name. I get so distracted looking at what I'm working on. So yeah, good call. Everybody forget what you saw. Those are fake names. I made them up. Prove me wrong. Let me set up my acrylic station over here. Hey, doggy. Oh, y'all can't see that. Let's see. My wife's Australian Shepherd, Lila. I'm babysitting. Well, if I can get this in the right spot. Oh, let me turn this on. Okay. Let me see your handwriting. No, no, you can't see my handwriting because it. Okay, you can see my handwriting because it looks like that. Yeah, she's cute dog. She's a mini Austrian Shepherd, so she's a little bitty girl. All right, so what we're gonna do is this is crystal clear, so that is this monomer and regular. I still use splint, but I'm still gonna use the tinted monomer on the labial acrylic. So this has labial acrylic. Let's see if I can zoom in just a tad. So the splint should be done drying the last coat of separator. There's something in the tip of this. It's not coming out very fast. I like to make these labial acrylics thicker than you think you would, because I'm sprinkling them first, and it's going to be the first to cure. Also, so that it'll cure from the outside in, so any air bubbles I get will be on the outside, and that part will trim off. That was the name, Amy. Hopefully y'all couldn't read that. So this is where the crystal clear comes in. Oh, come on. There's something wrong with this. Or sometimes the mouth is kind of on the big side, and it takes so much to cover it. I keep thinking my bottle is clogged up. I'm not going to worry too much about covering these anterior teeth because this doctor actually wants it scalloped, and we're just going to trim that area off anyway. So I'm not going to try to ramp it up against the teeth like that. I do want to make sure that the gum line, this little triangle here, gets covered, because that's going to get covered in acrylic. Oh, forgot to check the front. Okay. Once it gets this matte finish, I'll start putting some monomer on there just to help. How to double check, make sure this camera didn't freeze up. It does that sometimes. I don't know why, I just feel like this is taking forever to sprinkle. Usually I'm good at just slapping this acrylic on. Maybe this mouth is just bigger than most. Double check, make sure this isn't. Yeah, you can already start seeing some tiny little bubbles showing up. Notice I had to speed up a bit. Plus, it's a little hot in here. When I was at church, the AC, I usually have it on auto, where it will auto turn on in here. But since it's been cold some mornings, I've been turning it off, the auto feature. But then it gets a little stuffy and warm in here, and that causes my acrylic to set up faster. So to do this splint, I probably should have put my monomer in the fridge. Oh, get off there. Okay. That one's ready for the pressure pot. At least I remember to turn that one on. I seem to always struggle finding a balance with too much retention, not enough retention, right? I probably would think on every one of them. I do too. You're not alone. I do too. Like this one, I probably didn't do enough. And I know I didn't, but then I'm afraid if I put too much wax on there, it's gonna be loose. At least when it's too retentive, you can grind some out. You know, you can loosen it. If it's too loose, you gotta add acrylic back to it, and it's difficult to do. So I'm always, on the safe side, I always go too retentive, because then you can always reduce it on the, at least the doctor can reduce it chair side. Take out some of the inside, the embrasure undercuts and stuff with a burr. But let's sprinkle this. Iliac, just get a container with water and some ice and put it in the monomer. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I want to get one of those little, have you seen those little soda can, little refrigerators people put on their desk in offices and stuff, and they put one soda can in there, and they can close the door and it makes it cold. I want to get one of those and just put the monomer bottle in there. I do have a fridge, but it's over there and you got to think ahead. But I like the idea. Just have something ready to go and put the monomer in there. All right, let's do that. Oh, let me move this off. Oh, I didn't do my thing. Okay, so that was wraparound. So we're back to the splint. Because I run fancy live streams like this. It's kind of dark over here, actually. So to do, I'll back this up a bit. No. I'm going to take this apart. There's a trick I've learned from Steve Zara, actually. And it is sprinkle the inside and the occlusion first. Put the articulator together, and then once all your teeth touch, keep it closed and then sprinkle the outside. Before, I was trying to do it all at once, and it was just proving too much. I'm going to clean this tip out a bit, see if I can get it to flow better. All right. Oh yeah, maybe too much. So like I do the inside, the lingual surface. And at the same time, I'll just go right over onto the occlusion. Like that. Sometimes with the acrylic, more is not always better. Because sometimes if it pours out too fast, you know this stuff is slippery, right? Y'all have spilt it on your hardwood floors or your floors before and almost slipped in it, this polymer. So it doesn't stick to each other very well. See, if you do that and then do that, it just slides off, right? So there's a perfect balance between, you know, too much and not enough. I'm not worried about, notice I didn't put the wax around the distal, because I'm going to be cutting that distal off anyway of the 7s. So I'm not too worried about trying to get acrylic back there. Trying to make this flat, so I'll try to put a corner here, put a corner here, building that up. So let's go in the middle now. I hadn't even put the articulator together yet. I'm gonna try to see if I can nail it on the first try. And since it's a live stream, that will not happen. But I kind of know where those lower anteriors were hitting. I mean, they were hitting hard right there. So I know that they're not going to be way back here. So I'm not too worried about filling. I'm only going to fill that in for strength and to, you know, make sure I don't have a seam like right there and a seam right there. Just build this up. Put a little, if I think it's slumping, I'll put a little bit. Okay, I think we're getting close to the lower. I like to fill in the little concavities. I mean, it'd be nice to have like a little ridge, and you can kind of build that while you're shooting your acrylic. And again, I'm not going to worry about the outside here until after I get all the teeth touching. So let's put the lower on. I'm going to put it into the articulator, close it down, and then put it together. And oh no, the teeth, like, look how much they've been worn down. So it's going to take a little bit. All right. I don't know if you can see in the little picture. Oh, yeah, it's not up. Ah. Just adding it all the way around. I think it needs to be embedded. This obviously needs a lot more. Let's check it. Okay, I can see the teeth going in there. Yeah, I think we're good. I'm not going to worry about the lingual cusp too much. This does look like a thin spot right here. So I'm going to... You got to remember to keep everything wet without it slumping. So, you know, faster and slower at the same time. Again, I don't worry about the mesial cusp too much. I want those buccal cusps. Those are what hit the most. Unless you know, the cusp that's going to skate around on the acrylic is going to be the one that sticks up the most. And I'm talking about, did I just knock that into the ceiling? Great. Yeah, there's not really much. Yeah. I like how that looks. See how it just barely went in? You can open it one more time. You can see if you got all the occlusion, which I do. I may add a little pumice here. I mean pumice, geez. And then add a little monomer here. And then start with that side you started with, and then you're going to build your buckle surface. Sometimes there's bigger chunks in the acrylic, the powder, and they clog up the tube, the applicator. And then with the wax, one cool thing you can do is just take your finger and you can clean up some of it like that. And then I'll go ahead and go to the other side and build up the buckle here. I'm not trying to go against the opposing teeth down here, but mainly just building up this buckle. Check the side. Yep. Trying to slump on me. I see you. Trying to slump on me. Get back there. Freeze you down. I chopped an air bubble in there. Hopefully I can get it out. I probably chopped a lot of air bubbles. Rarely can I make a perfectly bubble-free. I used to be really good at it, and I've gotten worse over the years. Anybody out there use a heat-cured method? Where they actually make one of these out of wax, the splint, and they build in all the cusp tip, all the occlusion and all the occlusal equilibration. They build it into the wax, and then they take the wax and they heat cure it, or they boil it. They make they flask it, so they cover it in stone, and then they boil out the wax. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this, because I know I'm going to cut it anyway. So I'm just going to cut it to help me to take it off. There. Oh, cusp tip. I mean canine guidance. So I'm just going to build up just a little bit extra right where I think that lower canine is. They want very light canine guidance. Oh, see, there's no mark. I'm sweating. I know this thing needs to get in the pressure pot ASAP. And there we go. We'll keep that. Put a little bit. And one cool thing I like about the Galletti is it's got these legs on them, so it kind of keeps it out of the water. But I need that to go a little bit higher. So I got a bunch of these little platforms. There we go. Now, I don't want, it's barely touching that. What I got to be careful of is I don't want the air to be pushed through and into that wet acrylic. Hopefully it cures before that happens. Actually, this needs to go back in. Nope. Come on. Okay. Hey, that was an hour. 6:05, that's not bad. So we did bent one wraparound. Excuse me, we prepped one splint, articulated it, waxed it, all that stuff. And then we sprinkled the wraparound and we sprinkled the splint. So not bad. So y'all can see that's kind of a process you can use in your own lab. Is kind of you start stacking. Can I prep this, let it dry, and start prepping this to let that dry, and then while that thing is done drying, I can pull the other one and finish working on that. So that's kind of how it works day to day in my lab. Is you work on one while you're prepping another. The bad thing is if you don't have a good system over here. Oh, you can't see that. If you don't have a good system over here where my fan is, you can do the wrong, you get them out of order. And I've done that before, and you put the wrong one in the pan. So it's always good to check the name or number on the back. So, stirring the bottle will get it cold really fast. Oh, like the one with the ice and water, kind of like you do with like wine bottles. They have those things you can do at the grocery stores. Maybe I need to get one of those. The wine bottle chiller. This is for someone that usually has TMJ and or grinds their teeth. Yes. So the canine guidance, when they go side to side like this, it will declude the back. So I guess if they grind, there's those that clench real hard. That's supposed to help them because their TMJ and the muscles it'll help relax the muscles in a sense, because it's not teeth against teeth. And then the grinding, the canine guidance will declude the posterior and ramp it off so the posterior teeth and the anterior don't touch just your canines. So the canine will go on a ramp like this and will declude the back. Yes, Amy, like a night guard. Yeah. You don't use a tray that comes provided in the pressure pot, only water. Right. So yeah, there is a tray that this came with. This thing, I think, is what you're talking about. Right? And it comes with a little stand. So the stand sits on the ground, like you sit it in the pressure pot like that, you set that on there. So it's filled with water right here. So that's called the steam method. And that's another way of doing it. My very first pressure pot, I got it used. I did a trade with my old lab that I used to work for. I traded an air compressor for a pressure pot, and their pressure pot didn't come with these. So I just got used to not using them. And then I bought a new pressure pot, and it came with this. I'm like, well, I guess I could keep you. What I really would like is this to be cut in half and have a platform where I can put the models. So I put it on a cup, and I don't know if y'all saw that or not. See this nasty cup with the water line on it? I put the models on the cup, but it doesn't touch the water. And then once it cures enough to where the bubbles from the stone won't bleed through the wet acrylic, I can dunk it in the water. So I usually put my thumbnail in it, make sure it's cured. But usually by the time I sprinkle the next one, I'll take this off the cup and put it in the water, and I'll put the new one on the cup. And I learned that from the lab I worked at. So yeah, if y'all got a new one, use the tray with the stand. And so it's called the steam method. You put a little water underneath here, and that way your models don't ever touch the water. But I do like to dunk the water in the model to do a final cure in the water. To me, it just seems to get a nice cure, and also something about the water whisk away the free radicals of the monomer. That's what I've been told. And you can do an acrylic leg for stability. Acrylic leg? Is that the canine guidance? Or I wonder what the acrylic leg is. Kind of like a Nord. Well, Nord's different. That's for an expander. I guess I could separate one of those, and then we can end this. I like to keep the splint in there longer than the like 10 minutes it takes for the acrylic to cure, because acrylic gets really, really thick. Or sorry, when it's really thick, I like to give it a lot of time to cure. But Linda, I do put it in the like I'll move that articulator off of those little stone pads and put it in the water once it's cured. Actually, I could probably do that right now. It's probably got its initial cure right now. I'm not too worried about it. Let's back this up so you can kind of see. I'm gonna go ahead and take this out because I can probably separate it. And then I'll just take this off those acrylic pads, dunk it in the water. If I can get the acrylic, not acrylic pads, stone plaster model bases. And then go ahead and cure it. Do I have a knife? Anybody who stole my knife? I did. I've worked by myself. You never realize how easy it is to take these retainers off the model when the model's stone. When you do so many 3D printed models and you're sweating it that you're going to break it. But that's it. That's ready for trimming. What I will probably do is finish these tonight. I'm running out of recording space here, but why is this not stop? There we go. You can do acrylic leg for read the previous comment. Oh, this one. Oh, the pot plate. Okay, sorry. For the pressure pot. Okay, an acrylic leg for stability. I'll have to see a picture of that. Send me, if you have that, send me a picture on WhatsApp. Iliac. But that's it. We'll end it there. Like I said, I'll finish those. Like I finished these tonight and deliver them early in the morning. I'll take some pictures, post them in my feed here and on. So Linda, you're watching on Facebook. If I don't forget to post it there, check for it tomorrow or the next day for that. If those that are Patreon members, the ad-free version should be up tomorrow of this in Patreon, so you don't have to deal with ads. And keep an eye out for some videos of the wire bending, and we'll do it then. Oh, cut the plate in half, put it upside down, and then put an acrylic leg for support. That makes sense. That makes sense. Oh, thank you for that tip. That's awesome. I like that. I might use that. I'll make a video on it and give you the credit. Yeah, have a great night, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving, those that are watching from afar. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there, and hopefully y'all get a lot of good turkey to eat and everything. And you are definitely welcome, Linda. I hope it helps. And if I think I'll link a video, but look at I'll probably have a full splint video if you want to see the trimming part. Probably I'll try to link it in here. So you got it. Happy Thanksgiving. Until next week, it'll be December, I guess. Holy cow. I hope to see y'all then, and happy bending.